have the honor and privilege to introduce our speaker and trainer today. She's turned into just a wonderful friend of Lexi and I. We've known her and her husband, Mark. They're out of Arizona, Flagstaff, and also working their way down to Sedona. They got a couple different coverage areas that they do. They rock it. Jacki Tait and Mark Tait are just amazing people. Wonderful married couple. Jacki, her background, she was a top title rep. Okay. So training realtors how to get more leads and deals and business. And then finally, I'm sure she had so many people going, "Hey, Jacki, I think you'd be an amazing realtor." It's kind of funny. My wife went the same way. People were like, "Why aren't you selling real estate, Lexi? Get out of title." So Jacki went in and got her license and promptly became building a team and so on, being the number one producing realtor for Realty One in the entire city of Flagstaff, Arizona, just killing it, doing 70 plus deals a year. And she's like, and you know what? This year, I want to see what I could really do if I really put the pedal down to the metal. So, I mean, I'm like, wow, okay, you already did 70, but yeah, go for it, girl. So anyway, she's a trainer. She was a national speaker. They had asked her multiple times to speak on the national stage at the big conventions for Realty One. Other offices had asked her to come out from Arizona to California, even in my market, and she was training agents there. So we're really in for a treat today. She loves people. She sincerely wants people to win. So it's really good that we're recording this because I'm a little frustrated. We only have 19 here because we'll just say they're out busy taking $1 million listing appointments, and they're going to catch the recording. That's what we're going to say. Live in positive. But I'm going to step aside. Jacki, unmute yourself, please, and let's rock and roll. And you got till 9:45 if you need it, and let's rock.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And now I'm like, wow, that's a lot to live up to, Matthew. So
you do. They'll see. Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, I got to bring it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to bring it. But today we're going to have a little talk about how to build a consistent business, but also what I really want to focus in on is not just a consistent business, but doing a consistent business through relationships. I have built my business by relationship. My coaching has a framework called Relate. And this is just a really big thing for me. So let me ask you this, just by show of hands or favorite emoji in the chat, who is frustrated having an inconsistent business right now? Is there anybody on this call that gets frustrated with the inconsistency? It's the nature of the beast in real estate, isn't it? And we get frustrated. And I know that when I first started in real estate. So what Matthew maybe doesn't know is that I actually started as a realtor in 2002. And so for 2 years, I was an agent. Then I went into title. Then I jokingly say I came back to the good side. But I will tell you, those first 2 years were a prime example of what not to do in real estate. And I was 100% on that roller coaster, the commission roller coaster that we're all really familiar with. Like, yay, I got something in escrow. And now we're climbing up the thing and yay, I got paid. Look at that big check in my bank account. And then you're like, and there goes taxes and there goes marketing and there goes all the things. And I don't have anything else in escrow. And okay, here we go again. And that to me, that was part of why I was like, well, I'm getting into title because that's a little more consistent business. And so the great thing is coming back in here, I was able to do a lot of work in terms of how do you stay consistent? What is the best way to build your business? And honestly, this is a relationship-based business. We can have all the tech and all the tools in the world. And I am definitely techie. I love those tools. But here's the key. We need to use those tools to create relationships. We need to use those tools to help us stay on track of our relationships. And if we can do that, it's a really powerful 1-2 punch. And you can create a consistent book of business by doing exactly that. So if you guys are okay with it, do I have the ability to share my screen, Matthew? Looks like I do.
Try it. I'm not sure.
I'll give her a shot.
Okay.
Can you guys see that?
Yes.
All right. So let's go ahead and kind of jump in. We're going to talk about that, here's the thing. We really want to stop just chasing leads all over the place. And we want to go deeper with the people who already know us, like us, and trust us. And what if they know us, but maybe they don't like us and trust us yet? We're going to get a little in depth on that. And at the end of this, I do have a coaching prompt that I'm going to share only for the people here live. So I'm sorry if you're watching the replay, you have to create a call with me, and then we can have a little chat, and then I'll give you the handout. Fair? Does that sound good? All right.
I love it. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So we want to get out of those feast and famine cycles, and we want to build our business and gain some consistency. So we kind of already went into, we're already in that hustle trap where we just have to go, 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 because we're always hunting for that next deal. We don't feel like we're building momentum because whatever's in escrow now, that's it. That's the length of our time. And I will tell you, when I very first started real estate, I will never forget my branch manager in my office. I'm new. I was 26 when I got into real estate. I'm green. I have no idea what I'm doing. And so I really thought that was the guy that was going to teach me the ropes, and he was going to train me, and he must be the almighty guru. We learn as we go along in this business, don't we? But his name was Eric, and I will never forget that on like the second day that I showed up to the office, all, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, he goes, "Well, I had a closing today." I was like, "Oh, that's great." He goes, "Yep, I'm officially unemployed now." And I went, "Huh? What are you talking about?" And how many of you have heard somebody use that joke? Have you heard that before? Like, "Oh, my escrow closed, now I'm unemployed." And that stuck with me. And so if I can impart anything on you when you're dealing with new agents or people new to your team, don't ever use that joke with them. They don't get it. They don't know what you mean by that. And I think that really stuck as like a core belief my first couple of years in real estate, and really made me come from a mindset of scarcity and lack and desperation. I thought, well, if this guy's coming from that, what chance do I even have? So we don't want to get into that. So here's what we want to do. We want to shift into knowing that we're going to have consistency in our business. We're going to be working with the people we want to work with. And by doing that, we're going to have less stress. Does that sound good to anybody? Like, oh, wow, you mean I can wake up in the morning, work with people I actually like, who actually respect my abilities in real estate? Yeah, sign me up for that, right? And so we're not going to go necessarily wider. Today, we're talking about going deeper, because here's what's actually broken. We are trained that we have to chase leads. We have to do open houses. We have to do all of these things. And that's true to a degree. I mean, listen, I know we've got some successful people on this call. How many of you successful, you built your business, you feel really good about it, but you're still doing things like open houses and generating leads? We still do that, right? We're all still doing that. But here's the fun part about it is we're doing it for different reasons. And we're doing it coming from a place of, hey, listen, we're going to throw these things in there, but my open houses are to serve my sellers. And when I meet a buyer and I'm able to get them into contract, maybe I'm not on this house, but something else, that's high five bonus. It's not the entire business plan. So what we've been doing is we've been creating an unpredictable business of our own accord because we're so busy chasing after new people that we have been inconsistent with the people who already know, like, and trust you as a realtor. So we're focusing on our lead generation efforts instead of relationships. We've all heard speed to lead, right? I mean, as soon as that lead comes in, we have to drop everything and we have to call that new lead within 5 minutes, because if we don't get to them first, somebody else will. So we're quicker to pick up the call to call a perfect stranger than we are to pick up the phone and call somebody who we've known for 10 years, who's used us in the past for real estate. Why is that? We're going to fix that today. And we're focusing more on our transaction than we are on the lifetime value. That's the old way of doing it. That's what we're trained to do. Just kind of like that broker taught me so early in my career. I'm officially unemployed. So that also gives the impression you're done with that person now. No more. All right, that person, we got them into their house or we sold their house. We've moved them on. Okay, on to the next. No, we don't want to do that. So what are we doing? We're using Zillow and lead sources like that. And we're doing open houses. We're working with random referrals, none of which is bad, but all of which is bad if it's the backbone of your business. Does that make sense? Give me a little fire emoji or your favorite emoji in the chat if that is making sense. Yes, and Tom, just wave your hand. I don't want you getting any accidents over there. I love it. All right, Matthew's got the rockets going. Very cool. All right. So let's shift our mindset and change everything. Here are the ways we're going. This is the old way is the transactions. The new way is the relationships. When you are in transaction with somebody, I want you, yes, to absolutely be focusing on that transaction. We have to do our job. This is what we're hired for. We're hired to take them, either if you're working with a buyer, we're hired to take them, find that house, get them into contract, and then take them from contract to successful close of escrow. That's our job. And I always tell my clients, listen, finding you that home is only 25% of what I do as your realtor. The other 75% starts when you find the home and say, this is the one I want to make an offer. That's when I really go to work. And so during that process, though, instead of saying, okay, I just got to get these people through this transaction, let's get to the close of escrow, let's get that money deposited in my bank account. Instead, look at this entire process as every step of the way, it is a chance to continue to build a deeper relationship with this person. At the end of the transaction, yeah, of course, we all want to get paid. Let's be honest. None of us are doing this because, we just feel so charitable and we just, I would do this for free and just put people in houses and go through all the paperwork and stress and all the things I need to do to successfully get you to the closing table. I would do it for free. No, that's not true. We all know that. So yes, of course, the money, we want that. But let's stop looking at that as the end all be all. The goal isn't how much we're going to make. How much we're going to make is going to be the natural outcome of doing a fantastic job in building these relationships. So that's the mindset shift. Let the money be the evidence that you're doing well, not the goal as to your why. So all through this transaction, we're looking at this as opportunities to build deeper relationships. One thing that I can tell you when we're building deeper relationships, I know we are in a text crazy culture, and I like text as much as the next guy. It's a great way to go ahead and just keep things moving along, especially when we're only giving bits of information to keep things moving. However, I have a little rule of thumb that if the text message is going to go back and forth more than 3 times, I'm picking up the phone. We're getting on the phone. We're going to have a conversation. And it's funny because I know I talk to some realtors who are, in their maybe 20s and 30s, and that's such a foreign concept. But trust me when I say this is a really important thing, especially in today's day and age. I've heard people say, well, in today's day and age, we don't want to pick up the phone. Everybody wants a text message. Well, here's the truth. They tell you that they want a text message, but the truth of the matter is people are more hungry for real connection than ever before. We want to get on that phone call. We want people to reach out to us. We want to see and be seen. And the only way you can do that is by getting voice on voice or getting in person with people. Look at this transaction as an opportunity. If your client is going to be at the wrap up for the inspection, be there with them. Don't let them just, oh, you know what? I'm too busy. I got this other thing going on. You go to the inspection, high five, tell me how it goes. Make sure you're there. For several reasons, but we're sticking on the relationship based point here. And it's just showing up, being face-to-face, showing you care. Okay, so let's move on to contacts. We always think of in our database, we've got our contacts. Instead of looking at these are my contacts, I want you to start focusing and saying this is my community. This is the community I am building. And within that, where are you keeping track of your community? You're keeping track of your contacts are your people and the database is your community. You all can read. You knew where I was going with that. So you really want to look at your contacts. These are your people. Your database, this is your community. Your database is now the place that you are keeping track of that community. How many of you feel like you're a part of a community, either geographically in your neighborhood? You're like, yes, this is my community. Maybe you go to church, maybe you go to a book club, wherever it is. You're like, I am in community somewhere. Yes. So whatever just popped into your head when I said, think of your community, I want you to take that visual image and put that on top of your database, whatever you're using, your CRM. It doesn't matter which one you're using. You use Bold Trail, Follow Up Boss, whatever. It doesn't matter. That is now your community. So every time you open that database, you're like, yes, who can I connect with today? Who can I contact to continue to build this community? And we've already kind of covered this, instead of just closing deals, you really want to be like, man, that closing isn't the end. It's just the beginning of a deeper relationship and a person who's going to be your advocate and who's going to send you referrals. All right. These are people that you are they are entrusting you to take care of them. So let's do that. So here's my relate method. All right. I'm not going to hit on all of these today in the interest of time. I'm just going to hit them all as bullet points, and then I'm going to get deep into one or two of them. First is the reach out consistently. Second is engage authentically. Third is listen intentionally. A is add value. T is touch regularly. And E is elevate the relationship. So you guys can take a screenshot of that. You can write that down. You can get deep on these. I do have a whole thing that I go really deep into each one of these 6 things. But for today, I really want to talk about reach out consistently. Reaching out consistently is the number one thing that you can do. I'm going to repeat that again because it's that important. Reaching out consistently is the most important thing you can do. Now, I know that most of the time when I start talking about this, people start to go, yeah, but what am I going to say? I don't know what to say to people. I don't want to bother them. And then you start to get up in your head, right? You're like, oh, that person, we just closed a $600,000 transaction together and it went really well. And then they did leave me a good review because I did ask for that review afterwards. And then I thanked him for it. Now what? What do I say? Why do I contact them? Well, at the end of this, remember I told you I was going to give you a handout. It is a list of conversation prompts that you can say. Some of them are from a personal perspective. Some of them are from a business perspective. So I'm going to send that to you just to honor you for being here today. It's my gift to you. No strings attached, what have you. Unless you're watching the replay, then the string is you have to reach out to me personally. All right. So the thing is, though, you do want to reach out consistently and you want to put them into a drip. In my CRM, AKA community, I have a whole action plan that they go on after we close escrow. And it is a quarterly touch base for the next 5 years. And that's only what's in the action plan. That doesn't preclude me from reaching out to them outside of that action plan, but I am going to touch base with these people at least 4 times a year. Now, it doesn't always mean a phone call. So you can see here's their simple touches, their text messages, calls, direct messages through social media, pop by. It's not just when you need something. See, this is the problem is that agents say, well, I don't know what to say because every time I'm calling, the question I'm asking is what? Who do you know that needs to buy or sell real estate? Stop it. I want you to get that entire sentence out of your vocabulary. If you're doing this right, you never have to ask that question in that way. You're going to be asking that question, but with such different intention and such different verbiage that your person on the other end doesn't even realize that that's really what you're asking them to do. So, I want to give you an example of this. One of the things that I did, this just happened a few days ago. I was out looking at a house, and so there were two houses next door to each other in downtown Flagstaff. Most of you on this call aren't familiar with downtown Flagstaff. It's an historic little area. It's very cute, very quaint. Homes were built as early as the late 1800s, but a really good chunk of them were built in the early 1900s. There's not a lot of them, but people all want to live in downtown. They want to be able to walk to their favorite restaurants and bars and shops. They want to walk to the Heritage Square where all the action happens in the summertime, and they do movies on the square and things like that. They want that access. And so they're willing to pay a premium to be there. Now, houses here don't come on the market very often, and especially houses in good condition. But I was showing a little one-bedroom house that was in good condition. But right next door to it, that same investor was selling a 2,200 square foot house with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and all the bells and whistles. But it was torn up. I mean, this thing has like no floors, no toilets, no nothing. It's all torn up and just ready to be a project. And since I knew obviously it was vacant, I went ahead, let the agent know. She said, yeah, go ahead. I went in and did a quick video tour because I have a client who I have worked with for at least 12 years. She and her husband they're my top people. They're my top clients. They do business with me. They used to do business with me at least like once a year. And now I got them all nice and happy where they are. And that's not a good thing for me right now. So, and I literally went through there and I took a video, and then I texted her and I said, I just walked through a house in downtown that made me think of you. I'm going to do a video tour and send that to you. She started laughing. She's like, yes, you know me. I'm always up for a project. Okay, that would have been great if she would have said, yes, Jacki, let's put our hat in the ring. It was too much of a project for where she is right now. She goes, ooh, you know what? That other investment property down the road, I just got done doing some addition or some updates to it, things of that nature. But then there was the invitation. You got to go see that. Okay, great. Second invitation was, hey, my husband and I are going to be up in Flagstaff more often. We want to get together with Mark and you and Mark. Let's do golf. Let's get together for drinks, this, that, and the other. So what was I doing? I was using this opportunity, just a house I saw that made me think of her, that then led to keeping that relationship deep. She's inviting Mark and I to dinner. She's inviting me to go play golf with her. These are the moments that keep you going. By the way, even though she hasn't done any business, she and her husband haven't done any business for a few years. Last year, she did refer her daughter-in-law to me, and I was able to help her daughter-in-law buy a house. So you see how that all works out. All right. So we're going to skip through a few of these things, but what I really want to talk about is the add value. Again, we're going to go back to how many of you feel like, I don't have anything to give you. I don't have anything to say. Maybe you've done the Brian Buffini route and you're a big, pop by person where you're like, I don't know, giving the little measuring cup and saying, I can't measure your value. I don't know, all those little corny things. And here's the thing. I like those. I'm a fan of those. I don't do those, but I am a fan of it. If that's in your wheelhouse, do it. I'm not knocking it. However, the people that you have done business with, the people that you have in your database you are building community with, they didn't really connect with you for the measuring spoon or the recipe cards. Yes Are we all on board with this? And again, I'm not saying those are bad things. What I am saying, though, is we have items of value as realtors that we can be giving them. Yes. Are those things cute? Do they keep us top of mind? Of course they do. Do they make us stand out? Yes. Good for you if you do them. But we want them to think of you when they think of real estate. So what are some items of value? And this is where I'm going to pause. I want to hear from you. What are some items of value? I'm going to stop my share for a minute that you bring to the table as a realtor, whether you're doing it actively or you can just think about it right now. Either type it in the chat or feel free to raise your hand. We'll unmute you. Let me know.
Let me just, while they're thinking,
Yep.
I think one of the most important things on that list is the listen intentionally. And I think it's a lost skill or art. I think we have such low attention span and we're doing the scrolling all the time and all this stuff that people have really lost the art of focusing on other people and really listening to what they're saying. And if you take notes, and this goes in recruiting, really life. People are touched when you remember stuff. Now you can go off your notes, put it in your CRM, hey, little Johnny was 13 and was a drummer. I was talking to a recruit yesterday and she goes, yeah, he's 15 now. He's the head drummer for the whole high school and da, 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 da. And, she's like, wow, you remember all that? I go, well, yeah, well, of course. Well, it's my notes, right? Like, but when you have the notes and there's something in your life that kind of comes up, maybe, they're a big Sacramento Kings fan and, they made a big trade. You can now have something to write sorry, bad timing on the alarm. Anyway, you can have something to write a handwritten note about the Kings, or whatever, like, oh, big trade. I was thinking of you, how are things, whatever. So anyway, I just think that's so important. It leads to fulfilling all the other items on your list there.
Well, that's great. I'm just going to jump in right now. Item of value is, of course, resources. People look to us as a resource, whether it's advice, whether it's handyman, painter, contractor, landscaper, financial advisor, CPA, lender. They are looking to us as a resource. That's definitely an item of value.
Absolutely. Your resources, that's one of the top things you can be offering. Hey, if you ever need all the things that Tom just listed, you reach out to me. I've got connections. I've got people I can connect you with. 100%. What else? What's another great item of value you can give as a realtor?
One thing my roofer does is he does free gutter cleans in the spring, which sounds like maybe a minor thing, but not really, because it's free and people love it. It gives me a reason to reach out to them. They think that I'm a rock star, that, I'm still thinking of them, and it adds value.
I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that. That is a big deal. And here in Flagstaff, we've got pine trees galore, and they like to drop their pine needles. And so it's almost always an inspection item that the gutters are full. So what a great item of value. I love it. Here in the chat, Joan says, share an annual cost of living report for your market. Well, she said for Denver, so I would probably do it for Flagstaff, but I'm with you, Joan. I love that. Let's do a cost of living report for our marketplace. This is definitely something you can be sending out to the people who are in your CRM. And then can I just take you one step further? And this is where I want you to really start thinking about building these relationships. If I sent out that cost of living report to, let's say I sent it out to everybody in my CRM. So 5,000 people get it. Okay, that's fine. But I've got my top 250 or my top 50 people. Wouldn't it be a powerful follow-up to then next few days, follow up with my top 50 and say, hey, I'm just calling in. I don't know if you got that cost of living report, and then have a conversation about it. Depending on how that relationship already is established, depends on how that relationship goes. It could be if that person is somebody who only knows you through business, then that could be something where you're saying, hey, I just wanted to touch base with you and help you, understand that this is a couple of key factors as to how that affects the value of your home. If it's somebody like the person I just mentioned, who I text texted and we're going to do dinner and golf and all the things, I can call her and just have a little conversation like, could you believe the cost of X, Y, or Z and how much that really surprised me? Hey, by the way, how's your dog doing? Right? So it just is another step to lead to things. So let's look at what else we have here. Addison says local market updates, 100%. I do a monthly market update, put it in a little 1-minute video, and then send an email to everybody saying, hey, here you go. And then I invite them to have a call with me to discuss what it means specifically for their real estate needs in this market. Okay, Matthew's got a really good list of vendors that you're going to want to have. Oh, that is okay. Oh, that's one of the note takers transcribing us. I'm like, I don't understand that question. A home evaluation. Thank you, Matthew. This is the most important thing. Let me give you one quick thing, and then we're going to go ahead and move on, wrap up. When I very first got in real estate, one of the things that I was told to do was to practice how to do a market analysis. So I called my best friend and I said, hey, you own a house. Can I do a market analysis for you? She's like, what's that? I'm like, I don't know, but this is what I need to do. Like, I'm so new that I'm like, I can't explain it further. But that gave me the permission to go in, figure it out, be able to explain it, send it to her. Well, here's the fun thing that happened here. I had my license for like a month when that happened. For the rest of, I've been in this 24 years. For the next 24 years, who do you think she's thinking of as her go-to real estate resource? It's me. It's me because I did a real estate related activity for her. And before that, I was just her best friend. We've been best friends since high school. We used to go get Taco Bell, sit in the park and talk until, our curfew. Before I did that real estate related thing, I was just that girl that we would sit and talk about Taco Bell. And then, of course, by that point, we were talking about our babies, all of that good life living stuff. But I helped her put into her mind one other facet of me, and that's as her realtor. The fun thing about that is literally last year, I helped her and her husband buy a house. I helped her parents sell a house, and I helped her daughter, who is my goddaughter, sell their first home that they bought from me a few years ago and buy their second home. And so all of that because I said, hey, can I do a market analysis? No, I don't really know what I'm talking about, but can we do it together? Is that okay? So let's go back to our, hold on. There we go. You guys can share. Okay. So one of the things you want to do is you want to pull people up your relationship ladder. I also call this the relationship timeline, but this is basically you're using things in your relationship to draw them along. You're not taking them from first point of contact to in the first 5 minutes, expecting them to buy or sell a house with you. Now, does that happen? Of course it does, but that's because they contacted you when they Googled you and found you based on their criteria, but they still don't know you. They don't know you from a can of paint. And so it's your job to move them along this relationship ladder or timeline and show them that you care. So this is your practical action plan. And this is what I really want you to focus on. I want you to identify your top 50 people. These are going to be your past clients, close friends, your sphere of influence. These are people who already know you, like you, trust you. You have a lot of people in that community of your database that maybe know you, but don't like you and trust you yet. Maybe they know you and like you, but they don't trust you. Maybe they don't know you, like, or trust you. They just came in off a Facebook ad and again, don't know you from a can of paint. So we're not going to focus on them right now. For this activity, I want you to identify your top 50 people. These are people that you're going to feel comfortable and confident contacting and getting that relationship. The top 50 people that you know you could be going deeper with. And then here's what I want you to do. You're going to set a weekly rhythm for yourself. These are 5 to 10 meaningful conversations per week. And this is with your top 50. This is on top of your regular lead generation. I am not telling you scrap everything else you're doing, all the other phone calls you're making, scrap all that and just focus on these people. It's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, if in any given week you are focusing to having 1 to 2 meaningful conversations a day, which lead to 5 to 10 meaningful conversations with this top 50 per week, these are the opportunities where you're going to go deeper. And this is where you can start to use some of these conversation starters. And the thing is when you are reaching out to your top 50 on this type of a cadence, when you're reaching out to them on that cadence, the question in your head of what do I say is far less prevalent. This is now like a natural, yes, of course, this is what we're going to say. Now, again, sometimes it's not about the conversation. Sometimes it's maybe more about just reaching out to them, showing you care on something. One of my favorite techniques, we're all on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all that fun stuff. One of my favorite things is, I'm scrolling TikTok and I liked a couple things, but I like to send them a text, and a personal text. Like I'll leave them a little comment on their TikTok or their Instagram, whatever it is, because I know that's part of how they get engagement. So that really helps them out. But then I send them a text and tell them maybe a personal insight that I had to that TikTok that maybe I didn't want to put out there. I'll give you an example. My hairdresser, she is a TikTok queen. And so she posted something on TikTok. I gave it a little like, and I actually gave her a comment. And then I texted her and I said, OMG, that made me think of that conversation we had about this, and gave her a little kind of inside joke that I wouldn't put out there publicly. And what is that doing? It's showing I'm paying attention and that I genuinely care. So there's other things besides phone calls, but focus on those phone calls. And obviously, I want you to build a monthly touch strategy. Let's mix it up. Yes, we want to make sure we're calling these people, but we also want to make sure that we're reaching out with the text messages. One of the things I do in Flagstaff, whenever we have our first snow, which this year we didn't get a lot of snow, but we usually get a first snow, and I do a lot of business with people who buy vacation homes. And so when we get that snow, I take a really pretty picture of the snow from my window of my backyard, snow on the pine trees and all the things. And I text it to all my clients who I know have a second home in Flagstaff. And all it says is, look at the first snow. Are you going to make it up to enjoy? That's it. And it opens up conversations. So you're tracking your relationships, not just leads. Matthew hit on it. Always be taking notes about everything going on in their life. When I talk to a client, when I first meet, I'm making sure I'm taking notes. And if they mention, oh yeah, we're going to need a fenced backyard because we have 3 dogs. Oh, what are your dogs' names? I always ask that question. Oh, what breeds are they? And people listen, they're buying a house because they got dogs and they need a fence and all that stuff. They want to talk about their dogs. They love their dogs. And so these are things that, hey, because sometimes these people come into your hopper and then they aren't ready to buy for another year or two. And how impressed are they in a year when you touch base again about the house and I say, oh, well, how's Jack, your little terrier doing? And how's, they go, oh my gosh, oh, he's so good. Or sometimes you get we had to put him down. And then I go, oh my goodness, what is your address? I want to just send you a little something. And I have like a little pet loss card that I send. So, there's things that you can be doing. All right. So here's the bottom line. I am going to send you, what I'm going to do, Matthew, what is the best way to get that to everybody? I think I can just put it in the chat, can't I?
I think so. Yeah.
And then people
you could
can
put your email in the chat if you want them to email. I don't know how you're going to deliver it. Is it a QR code or something?
No, it's just a PDF, but let's do that. I'm just going to give you my email address. If you guys want this, email me. I'll just respond with it because, as Matthew knows, I have a dad in the hospital right now. And so this morning there was a lot of stuff with that. So I didn't have it just ready to pop in there, and I don't want to waste your valuable time searching for it on my computer, but it is a conversation prompt. So if you email me, I will respond with that. Just put conversation prompt or atomic meeting, whatever, and I will know that that's what you need. So with that, that's what I have to bring to you today. Thank you for your time. And if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or funny jokes that you want to say on top of what we just talked about, please feel free.
Jacki, I appreciate you showing up and delivering today. It's interesting, and I don't know the stat on it, but it's been around. This is my 30th year in the biz. Tom's 40 plus. Like, it's not changed. Realtors as a whole are absolutely terrible at following up with their past clients, right? And so what you're saying is, no, don't look at them as clients, look at them as people, relationships. That was just one event over a lifetime of events that you want to be a part of. And look at it like a root system or a tree. That one branch, which you had that event with that one client, then leads to, oh, my sister, my brother wants to move into town, my kid, my parents, or it's too big a house, they need to downsize. Jacki, we love you, trust you. Would you help them? So that one event can lead to, if you track it over time, I mean, it's unbelievable, 5, 7, 9, 10 different sales and so on. So, and then from there, you got those relationships, and then they have their coworkers and friends and so forth. So that's how you can scale a business, through relationships. If you really follow all of that, relate and listen intently and be purposeful rather than just going 100 miles an hour, just like for the next thing. And you're not really getting, it's all surfacey. You're not getting any depth in regards to the relationship. And it's easy for them to leave you because you're more of a commodity rather than just like, oh my gosh, I would never use someone other than Jacki. Like, she cares, right? We're going to wrap it up. You got her email there. She loves to help and so on. So if you got something specific you want to reach out to her on, obviously she'll give you the PDF through the email, but feel free to ask her questions that pop up as you go throughout your day. Really appreciate you guys plugging in. Those that have team members in your organizations or even other real estate buddies that aren't even at EXP yet, I say, maybe they're at Remax or Realty One or whatever, you can invite them to this meeting. This is not just closed to us. Like, we open it up to everybody. We want to have realtors be the best realtors they can be because that raises the industry. So keep that in mind. This is a great little tool in your tool belt to expose people to the community that Jacki was talking about. Community is really big. And a lot of them don't think we have like collaboration and culture because they think brick and mortar creates culture. It doesn't. This right here is culture when we're really plugged in with each other, spread all across the country and loving on each other. So with that, you've got your inspiration. I'm taking Tom's line. Go for it, Tommy.
Y'all got your inspiration. Time to put in a perspiration. Let's go.
Let's rock and roll, you guys.
I love that. You're welcome. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jacki.
Thank you.